Welcome back, everybody. I am so excited to be joined by the man of the year. Can I call you that? Is that okay?
Please don't do that.
Okay, well, too late. I already did. The head coach of the Kennesaw State Owls, Jerry Mack. What a phenomenal year you've had. And it's still going because you got a bowl game to play. But when you step back and think about turning a 2-10 program into a program that has an opportunity to win over 10 games, what is that like? Man,
just phenomenal. What a phenomenal year. Compliment to the players, the coaches, the support staff, our administration, because when people have a year like this, I get a lot of praise, but they don't see all the things that happen behind the scenes, all the support that we've gotten from the community in Cobb County, just everything that goes into putting in a season like this.
It's hard to win 10 games in a football season, and you did it at a time where a program needed a lot of turnaround, as we mentioned off the top. How hard is it to accomplish something like that?
It's extremely hard. You know, the time that you put in day to day, just the hard work, getting everybody to buy in. That's the biggest thing that we had to really just kind of put our foot down and go forward and do. When you look at all the people that we brought into the building, not only just players, support staff, coaches, everything about the program is just totally different, all the way from the equipment man all the way to the video guy. And just to get everybody singing out the same hymn book, making sure everybody's on the same page. I said it before, leadership is real, but it also takes everybody to truly buy into the vision that we're trying to accomplish.
How'd you get people to believe in Kennesaw State? Because it's hard for transfers to look at Kennesaw State after a 2-win season, new head coach, but you got a lot of people to buy in. How'd you do that?
Yeah, consistency. We tried to be as consistent as possible. Every day we walked in the building, I talked about it every day. I wanted to be like Disney World. I wanted the people to come in the building and enjoy working with one another, enjoy being around one another, whether they be players or coaches. Because at the end of the day, when you go to Disney World, everybody's happy until you look at your checkbook, and then you're a little disappointed. But other than that, man, it was just a really great journey, a really great ride from day one. We walked in the building, I think January the 2nd or 3rd last year, and we just put our head down. And it wasn't easy. You know, sometimes it was ups and downs.
Sure.
We talk about it as a team riding the emotional roller coaster, which means just like a family, we're going to disagree on some things, but at the same time, we're going to be respectful on how we go about doing our business.
What's the reception been like on campus? You guys just brought home a Conference USA championship. You're going to a bowl game for the first time in program history of the school. What is it like to walk around campus and have the fans really be on board with this one?
Well, today it's kind of cold, so there's not going to be a lot of walking around campus today.
Right.
But overall, the reception has been great. Just the support from the community, the love you get from the administration and all across the board, it's been really good. But it just shows, you know, when we came here, we talked about being as good as we want to be, as fast as we wanted to be. And, you know, we came a long way in a really fast time. And I think it opened up a lot of people's eyes to just how good Kennesaw State could really be on a national scale if we all work together.
Let's talk about the conference championship for a second. It was a resilient win by your team. We've seen that a lot from the Owls this year. How much was that a display of who this team really is?
Grit, toughness, it was all on display that Friday night. You saw, you know, 4th and 14, what Amari Odom did to convert that. Then you saw him the next play step up and throw a strike for a touchdown to a guy that hadn't caught a lot of passes the entire year. Neville Dean did a great job finding open space. So what you saw is everything kind of come together. There were ups and downs throughout the course of the game. You know, we had great momentum for about 3.5 quarters, and then all of a sudden, at the last, say, 8 to 9 minutes, the momentum swing came toward Jacksonville State way. But our guys did not care. They didn't blink. They continued to just press on and push on, just like they've done the entire season. I think one of the first clips I showed at the beginning of the season was my time at the previous school. We came back when we were down and ended up kicking a game-winning field goal, and we rushed the field. And I think that they saw that, and we talked about overcoming adversity all year. It's going to be ups and downs throughout the course of life, but really the teams that have a chance to persevere through the ups and downs is the team that's going to have a chance to be successful at the end of the year.
When you say you showed that, did you show it in a team meeting?
We did. We showed it in a team meeting,
awesome.
and we just showed it was defense, offense, and really it's just the emotional roller coaster of football. There are going to be momentum swings throughout the course of a game, throughout the course of a season. You're going to end up having a guy that you depended on to be a starter, but at the end of the day, he may not be in that role by the end of the season. Amari Odom was our starting quarterback. You saw Dexter Williams did a great job coming in at times and leading us to some victories. You know, we had a starting linebacker to go down, and you saw a young freshman come in and end up being one of the freshmen of the years in the league this year. So you just have so many things that happen during the course of a season. Everybody, all 75, 76 people that we put on that bus or plane, they have to be ready to play.
You mentioned the quarterback. It was interesting. You played 2 for a large majority of the season. Then Amari Odom ultimately takes over at the job. That's pretty unconventional. You don't see that a lot, especially in college football. Talk about the beginning stages of that quarterback battle and ultimately how Amari took it over.
Well, with so many ups and downs throughout the course of the spring, we brought both of those guys in last January. And, as we kind of got out of spring football practice, we felt like one was going slightly ahead of the other.
Yeah.
As we kind of go through fall camp, that's why you work during the summer, because we saw another one started to really come along through the summer practice, through fall camp, and he deserved an opportunity as well to show us what he could do.
Yeah.
So we go through the course of the first part of the season, and, we're still really in a quarterback battle, what I call the exhibition season, when we played Indiana and Wake Forest and those guys.
Yeah.
But as we kind of get through that exhibition type season, what you start to notice is one guy started to slowly separate himself from the other. And about the time we got into, our conference play, we had kind of calmed down and we had solidified that Amari was going to be the starter. And at times, he played extremely well, but at times he kind of became injured and he wasn't able to complete some games. So that's why you never know what that opportunity looks like for you. And Dexter came in and did an excellent job of closing games out, or he did an excellent job of starting the games and the opportunities that he got to start in. And that's what it's all about. That's what true teamwork truly is. Everybody understanding that when that opportunity comes, you have to strike while the iron's hot.
What's it been like coaching those two guys, especially two that came into your program, as you mentioned, they transfer in from another school, both want an opportunity to start and play, but they each had their own moments where they contributed a lot to your offense this year?
I think they both bought into the idea of we can do something special here at Kennesaw State. Throughout the whole journey, especially when we started to stack win after win after win, it started to become really relevant that, hey, this team has a chance to do something special.
Yeah.
And I think everybody wanted to play a certain part in it, no matter whether it was, in the second half or the first half, you're the starter, you're the backup. It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, we always talked about, the 2025 Kennesaw State football team is going to go down in history. It's the first bowl eligible team, the first Conference USA champions that this program has ever had. So, they all bought into that. Everybody bought into that. And what you saw at the end of the day was a team that they refused to be denied. Okay,
you're cool, calm, and collected all the time, it seems. You're chill, you're nice, you're all these things. What gets you riled up on the football field?
This is what I talk about.
Okay.
Game day is the time where I'm calming everybody down. That's my job, to calm everybody down.
Yeah.
We got some guys that's tense enough for everybody on the sideline. So my job is to try to calm everybody down and kind of be that calming voice. Now, throughout the week, there are different moments and different times. Obviously, the camera's not around, so that's always good.
Yeah, of course.
But, I have a certain philosophy. I have a certain way I like to coach on the field on game day. Now, the refs may tell you a different thing because those are not.
I've seen some of those.
Yeah,
I have.
Yeah, those where a lot of the conversations take place on game day with the officials.
Yeah, I want people to know who you are because you are the nicest and the calmest person, but I know that there are moments in practice where you get fired up. You have to.
Yeah, and a lot of times, kudos to our team as well, though.
Yeah.
We have an older team that has some maturity about themselves. I said that way back. I noticed that back in the spring football. We have some guys that are older that's kind of been around the block, so they understand, when we raise our voice or when we attack them a certain way, they understand that, hey, these coaches mean business. It's time to tighten up. And the best teams are player-ran teams. And this team has done a really good job. We have a leadership council. They do a good job of controlling and just monitoring their own rooms. And those guys help me understand the pulse of the team and what we need to do each and every week to try to get better.
Did you adopt that into your coaching philosophy during your time in the NFL, or was that something in place for you before?
Yeah, I've been to so many different places and I've been able to pick up some good things and some bad things, and studying a lot of different people as well.
Sure.
So some things that I had already in my back pocket before I ever came to Kennesaw.
Okay, I know you don't like talking about yourself, but I'm going to do it again, okay? Because you're Conference USA Coach of the Year, Group of 5 Coach of the Year. You're up for the Eddie Robinson Coach of the Year, which will be announced on Tuesday. Some of the names that are a part of that are the biggest in college football: Kurt Cignetti, Ryan Day, Kirby Smart, Marcus Freeman, Clark Lee. You're on that list.
Right.
What does it mean to you to be in that conversation?
The staff. It's the staff, it's my family. Once again, I'm up here sitting in front of you talking, but there are so many people that work countless hours behind the scenes to make all those things possible. I would not be able to do any of those things if it wasn't for the staff and my family.
What's tricky about winning is it's really wonderful and it's great, but it also has opportunities for guys like yourself to move on, your staff to move on. How do you navigate that, and how honest do you have to be with your team that these are realities when we start winning football?
Very transparent. One of the things that I think a lot of the players and coaches respect about me is just my transparency. I don't believe in lying to people. I don't believe in leading people on the wrong way, because at the end of the day, it's not going to work out for anybody if you do that. When all the job chatter started to calm down about myself, I addressed it with the team and kind of talked about, like, these are my goals. My destiny, my journey is not necessarily theirs. And I understand there are going to be opportunities for those guys. Some will choose those opportunities. Some will choose to stay and continue to try to build something special here in Kennesaw. Same with coaches. I'm never going to follow anybody for trying to put him and his family in a better situation, because the goals and aspirations of Jerry Mack are not necessarily the goals and aspirations of everybody in that building.
One thing that's really cool is there was a lot of rumors about you getting coaching opportunities elsewhere, being a part of those conversations. In the middle of that, you're working on a new contract to stay here at Kennesaw State. Why was that important for you to sign that?
It was very important for me because, when me and my family first arrived, we talked about having stability. And this place, Kennesaw, has provided great stability. I see myself, I see our family really doing something special here, growing as a family, growing as a community. Kennesaw State is not, our goal is not to make it a sleeping gym. We wanted to make it known across the entire Southeast and across the country. So many special things happening here on campus at the university. I just think that, we're going to do our part as the football program to really bring a lot of those things to the forefront.
If you see a guy walking around on the sideline that looks like this guy, it's his dad, actually. So I'm assuming dad likes it here too.
He does. They came to all home games. They'll be at the bowl game.
Yeah.
I think they actually came to the Jacksonville State game because it was close to as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, and the relationship between you and your dad is so cool. He certainly has his opinions, I'm sure. He texts you, right, and tells you, great win, do this differently. How does that work?
Yeah, I'll get a long text every week at the beginning of the week. He does his scouting report really early, so he gives it to me Sunday night. Some of the things are great. Some of the things, he doesn't exactly know what's going on.
Of course.
All of it is well put to use. And, I can't thank him enough for everything he's meant to me over the years. I didn't have to look far for a role model. He was
awesome.
right there in the next room.
Football family for sure. Last question for you, because you do have a bowl game coming up. Very exciting one, because it's the first one in the history of Kennesaw State, which is really cool to be a part of. What are you looking forward to have that experience with your team?
To finish it the right way. We started this thing, and I think nobody could envision, except a few people that was in the building, that we would have been here at this point in time so fast. So, I just want these guys to understand what a great moment this is in the history of our university, what a great opportunity it is on national television to go out there and kind of put an exclamation point on the season.
But you don't want it to be a moment. This is going to be sustained here at Kennesaw State.
Definitely. We want to consistently make this part of what Kennesaw State is all about. Playing in bowl games, winning conference championships, just the standard of what it means to be an Owl.
Coach Mack, thank you so much. It's been so much fun to follow your team this year, and I wish you all the best in the bowl game.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back.